Alright, hello guys, welcome to my review of Tornado, another hidden gem from 2025. An action movie that deserves to be in people's top 10 films. Because it's basically, at first I wasn't sure what to think, how this movie was going to turn out, because I kind of discovered Tornado and Dust Bunny at the same time. And I was kind of deciding which one I wanted to watch first. I watched Dust Bunny and I'll just say now I kind of enjoyed that more because it had a more unique premise, but this film kind of took something that would be normally cliche, because in a way it kind of turns into like a revenge film. But they actually did something unique with it, because it kind of reminds me of like Golden Kamuy, with how everyone's trying to look for this gold, but they need to find these tattoos to be able to find the gold. And I'd love if, like, to a degree, the final season kind of goes similar to this. I don't know if like some of the characters would turn each other, and I couldn't see flipping because I'm gonna get into spoilers of this movie. So spoilers because I'm doing comparisons with Golden Kamuy and this Tornado film. Because you have this girl, she ends up basically finding the gold, and she wants to keep it to herself. I couldn't imagine the girl from Golden Kamuy, the little girl that Sugimoto, protects and everything, that has done so much for, like, to the point where she's literally her father in a way, since her real father died. I couldn't imagine either Sugimoto betraying her or her betraying Sugimoto, and I wouldn't say that's basically what happens in this film, but she tends to put literally her father or adopted father in danger for gold, because a boy ends up stealing the gold from criminals because they stole it from somewhere else, and she ends up running into a house because they do an interesting thing. They don't really start from how the movie should start. They actually start in like the midpoint of where the film would be, which is kind of an interesting way to do it. So you don't even know what to think, because you're just thinking like most films like this would basically start from the very beginning, so you know eventually it's going to be like a revenge film. And they also do something where, to a degree, they can make you not like the main character, because I actually even like the main character at first, Tornado, because she literally basically gets her father and other innocent people killed in this film. At first, when they start the film, you're just thinking, oh, these are the bad guys, and she's the one who's getting chased, so she's going to be the one who's the main character and the good guy. But when you actually see the way how the movie should have started, which is just a unique way to do it, and then you've got this guy who's kind of trying to betray the group because he wants the gold for himself because he's sick of splitting the gold when he does most of the work. Yeah. You just get kind of a unique perspective from each of the criminals. You just got one that's completely dumb, one that's useless. Then you've got the leader, of course, played by the Abomination actor. I think he's pretty good in this. Yeah, he's got all these different perspectives. And you just got the one who's just basically betraying his own people so he can get the gold for himself. Yeah. I don't know if it's the little boy or her who sees that. But yeah, then we jump back to where the movie should have started, 20 minutes in. Where I guess this is her dad. He's basically a samurai. They kind of do basically plays together to make money. But she's kind of sick of living like this, or having that like literally little bits of egg. It's not even like a full egg. It's like just a little bits because they have to share one egg together. Yeah. And she's kind of sick of living like that. And see that she does learn a bit from her father, but she doesn't really take any regard to it until later on where something actually starts to happen. They end up, I guess, robbing somewhere to get a bunch of gold, but decide to give it to literally the dumbest person in the group. And they start their little play, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's entertaining. And you see the criminals end up there watching it, but then there's this little boy who seems like his paw and stuff, and he's probably been starving. And while they're getting distracted by the play, the little boy just takes it, and I guess she kind of notices that while doing the play. And then they realise the gold's gone, but she ends up going to the boy who has it and hides him inside the car. But it seems like she would actually be helping him, but she's literally just doing it for selfish reasons, and she literally gives him just at least one bit of gold, but still, she literally just kicks him out of the car. So then that same boy ends up snitching, and then they end up making a roadblock, so they kind of trap him. She kind of knows that her dad could be in danger because of what she's basically done. Because all she had to do is not get involved. Either not get involved or either stop the kid from taking the gold, or I don't know. Because if she wanted to get involved, but she only cared about the gold. She didn't even care about if it's going to get her father in danger or not. She she's just sick of how she's living and she wanted to live better, but she didn't really think that she possibly could get people in danger. And the boy kind of tells where the gold is. Yeah. So they follow, they search his car. He basically snitches that she's the one who actually took it, and then the father he actually ends up flipping getting the slash on the leader of the group, but he ends up dying by the archer of the group. And then she just starts warning, and it just basically links all the way back up to, I guess, how the movie started. And you've got this village which they find, and this is where she's hiding. Yeah. And then she ends up hiding, like someone ends up hiding her, but then he ends up getting killed by the archer as well. The same one that killed her dad. And she probably just has so much guilt, and she ends up getting this village burned because she kind of led him to this village. I'm surprised. Well, we'll get to the ending anyway, because I'll probably mention it again. And then this guy just captures her again, saying to need to the gold, or he'll basically just slay her for it. Yeah. But then he ends up getting killed by the boss because he finds him. So he gets killed. Seems like the leader would kind of felt bad about having to kill him because I don't know if it's because he ever viewed him as like his best soldier, like because he's the one who did do a lot of the work, or he actually to some degree cared about him. Yeah. And of course, she just has so much guilt for what she's done to the point where she actually tries to go back to the gold and disposes of it, realizing that the gold just causes so much death. Because even the kid passes away. Because he felt bad about betraying her too, so yeah, they just tried to get away together, but it didn't work out. He's basically starved to death. Because out of everyone, I guess the kid was the one who probably deserved the gold the most, because he literally was starving to death. Yeah. And then she decides to, take a fight to these people and use her father's training to kill him. And then she takes him down with ease. And it just kind of this movie just kind of gives me vibes of how The Last of Us was at one point with Ellie when Joel goes out and he can't really help Ellie. She has to try survive herself and take on a bunch of people by herself to get the stuff to help Joel. I'd love if the director of Last of Us kind of made something like basically this, but in literally this setting. That'd be so cool to play just as a girl who had a samurai father, and she has the training of her father. She just tries to survive this kind of world and find a safe haven. Yeah, that'd be and I feel like I don't even know what the person who made Last of Us does now, because the person that took over. And in a way, to me, this kind of gives a better Last of Us 2, even though it's nothing like Last of Us 2. But he has certain elements that I would see in Last of Us 2, but I feel like they're kind of executed better. And the way how they made me hate a character, but then by the end of the film, I respect them for realizing their mistakes, like the way how they got rid of the gold, because they knew greed was the wrong thing, and basically greed ends up killing basically most of the characters in this movie anyway. Because the main character ends up wanting vengeance, and she kills most of them. Yeah. She ends up ambushing them, and they never really saw her coming. They didn't really stand a chance. She just takes them all out. And the leader, this whole movie, he was basically dying from the father when he got his slash on him. So really, the father at least took out basically one of them for the daughter, Tornado, and she just took out the rest herself. And one of them, in a way, was kind of keeping her alive so he could get the gold for himself. So that kind of also gave her an advantage. And then the innocent had to die, and the village got burned because of her. But kind of gave her enough chances to realize her mistakes and actually take them down. And she does take them all down. And he was already dying, so there's not really much he could do. And she ends up sparing the most useless one, I guess, because he was never really a threat. And it's kind of funny that the group she ends up joining is the village that got burned down, so they at least still take her in, I guess. Yeah. And then you even have the useless guy who's in the gang that joins this group. Yeah. And it seems like her story will be told throughout history, maybe, as a play and stuff. Yeah. And it just maybe has a cool ending. Yeah. Seems like at one point she just goes off on her own. Yeah, it's a pretty good film. Yeah. I wasn't sure what to think at first, and then I started to hit the main character, so I was like, oh god. But it found its way to like end things well. Yeah. And it's another missed great film from 2025. Because this like Dust Bunny and this Tornado definitely beats a lot of films that people would say were the best films of 2025 easily. They beat Caught Stealing. I'll probably would I still say One Battle After Another still better than these two films? I probably could say that, yeah, because it was more ambitious and stuff. Had a lot more bigger actors. The story was not too crazy. At some points, you could easily miss information because it's a long film. But yeah, I'd still say One Battle After Another is better than Tornado and Dust Bunny. Because I'm just basically comparing films. I think I still say Superman's better, even though writing wise, those two films are better. Even though like things get a bit to a degree a bit silly near the end of Dust Bunny, but because from how the movie started to where it went, like sometimes it felt like a horror, and then it just seeing all the criminals die, and it just came off a bit hilarious with the flipping because they kind of showed the bunny a bit too much in the end, so it kind of came off more hilarious. But the message in the end of the film still kind of hit. And then Superman's stuff is just basically they choose Superman, true hope and stuff. So I'd still say it kind of beats both films really. These still are like films that I actually would have put in my top 10 if I made a top 10. To a degree, I could still make a top 10, but I don't know if there's any point doing it after making a tier list. But I don't even know if these films were even mentioned in my tier list because I went through so many movies, so I don't even know if like I came across any of these films. I doubt I did, so that's bad. That probably a lot of those films. I don't even know if some of those films are actually on this level, like actually great films. These are films I'd say are like 8 out of 10 films, yeah. 7 or 8 out of 10 films. Instead of a lot of mid films that I watched last year, 6 out of 10. Yeah. Mid to above average. Because these are the films I wish I actually got to watch in 2025. Hope I can see more films like this. I might go back on my tier list and see if there's any films that I might have missed. And then there's still some films that are known, like Monkey and Five Nights at Freddy's, which I just have no hope for. Because I didn't like the first one. And that's the need to watch. But yeah. So I need to finish Roofman. But yeah, I'd say these two films that I've watched recently easily beat a lot of the films from last year, easily. Because there was more TV for me that was actually doing a lot better. But yeah, I'll just probably end it here. Definitely recommend this film. I'll appreciate if you leave a like. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.